We have this romanticized view of living off-grid and self-sustainably. And I'm here to tell you, there's a reason that humans have lived in communities. To live by yourself, you have to be one of those mechanically minded people who can build and fix anything. And you have to be good at across the spectrum, not just carpentry, but electrical, all the new, technologies that people are using when they live off-grid. Or you live like a caveman. You live like someone who, lives near water and breaks the ice to get their water. Like those are your two choices. I have not seen the horses for 2 days. I caught a glimpse of them yesterday, and they were way up here somewhere, but they haven't come down near the house or around the house for 2 days now. I bet you they'll show up tomorrow. So why am I not worried about them? Because I can connect to them energetically and telepathically. And if they need me, they tag me. It's happened twice now that they've needed me, they've let me know, and they've sent me a picture of where they are. And I go to that spot, and the second time I couldn't even see them. I had to drive my truck over there. And I got out and they were nowhere to be seen. And I was thinking, did I get my wires crossed? Let me check in again. And then as I was doing that, they came up out of a gully and showed themselves, and they were right there. They were where they had sent me the picture that they were going to be. So this is a whole other level of listening to your horse and trusting. And so for me, what I'm being challenged with in this magnificent wilderness space is I'm really good at trusting animals. And I'm pretty good at trusting and communicating with the land at this point. Pretty good, not fantastic. Not where I am with animals. And now I'm finding a lot of fears coming up about the winter coming and feeling afraid and out of control. And so that brings up I was tapping on my fear. And it brought up questions of, this is an old paradigm. This is how humans have worked on this earth, thinking that if I can control things, I'll be safe. And yet control means you're not collaborating. And your safety in nature with these incredible mountains, it lies in collaboration, not control. Not seeing them as the potential enemy or the one that could kill you. Although many of us have been killed out in nature. So we have a visceral memory of that. We have past life memories of that. And it's not surprising that in an environment like this where you're very remote and I have no neighbors that I can even see. You can't even see his way up on the mountain. There's a guy up there. He's about 5 kilometers away. And so it puts me into a whole new reality with winter coming. And how can I move into a space of collaboration with these mountains and with the weather, the sun, the clouds, the wind? How can I move into a space of collaboration to feel a sense of safety, but at the same time owning my responsibility to not just be like oh, it's fine, God will take care of me, it'll all be okay, and not prepare anything. Because look around you, look at nature. All of nature prepares for winter, either through food storage or hibernation or growing a really thick coat. There's preparation. So where's my preparation? So I realized when I actually stood here and I faced these mountains and I did some bilateral stimulation where I just crossed my arms over each other and touched the opposite collarbone points. And I checked in with my body and I said, how are you feeling about the winter? And my body actually felt calm and safe. And that's when I realized that, okay, so this fear is coming from my mind. And so I spent some time just feeling this place of safety and confidence that existed in my body. And then I connected to, okay, well, what does my mind need other than the tapping session that I was doing? And my mind needs me to make a redundancy list. So redundancy list is, if the electricity goes off, what do I have? Well, I have a backup generator that runs on diesel. How much diesel do I have? Oh, you know what? I should probably have more. I probably don't have enough stored. Okay, that goes on the redundancy list. Get a fuel tank or buy 4 or 5 more canisters to store diesel. Get that done. Get that in the garage. Okay, so let's say my wood boiler, my wood furnace that heats my house breaks down and I can't get anyone out here. Okay, I have a fireplace. I have a hand fireplace in the living room. Okay, so wood boiler's down and electricity's down. I can stay warm by the fireplace in the living room, but how am I going to cook food without electricity? Well, I could build a fire outside, and there's lots of I've been watching wilderness cooking shows, seeing how people just cook really great meals on a fire. So I have that option. Or I could purchase a camp, either a wood-fired cook stove, or I could purchase a propane-fired cook stove. So that could be, and again, that would be something that I would feel into. Well, what is my level of fear and concern over not being able to eat if the power goes out? Which brings me back to I've been looking at solar, but solar in winter is not a good idea anyway, not this far north. In California, fine. So then looking at running micro hydro off the creek down here. Down in that gully there is a creek. And wondering, if I feed electricity from here way the hay down, you can't even see the house, am I going to lose all my voltage? Because voltage drops every 200 feet. So again, okay, on my redundancy list, consult a micro hydro expert. So this is the way that as my fears come up, instead of ignoring them and saying, it'll be fine, we'll figure it out. The universe will provide. People will come and help. You can't predict the future. You just have to trust. That's all valuable and valid. It's a great energy to hold. But again, we live in 3D on planet Earth. Look at the animals. Look at the trees. These leafy trees are shedding their leaves. That's their winter preparation. They know, I can't keep these leaves alive through the winter. I have to concentrate my energy into my trunk. So I'm going to let go of my leaves. All the animals, all of nature prepares for winter. So there has to be that blend of masculine and feminine, right? So the feminine is the one that trusts and knows that the universe will provide, and that community can be a great source of support, and that your intuition and collaborating with the land and the mountains and the weather systems can provide incredible possibilities and support that we don't even know about. That's the feminine. And then the masculine says, well, okay, redundancy list. What do I need for fuel? What do I need for power backup? What do I need for heat backup? And so on. So I just want to share that process with you. It's been incredibly illuminating living here. I'm here with just my eldest son, who is not tech savvy. He's not mechanically minded. He's basically as useless as I am. So we don't have anyone here that we can feel like, oh, it's okay, we've got Joe because Joe knows everything. No, we don't have that person here. The universe, interestingly, has not brought us that person. So we're like a couple of city slicker newbies, living on a 160-acre wilderness ranch where, except for power, we're off-grid. So we have to know how our water works. We have to know how our heating system works, because if it goes down and no one can get to us because there's been a snowstorm, what are we going to do? So this has been... So a couple things. First of all, we have this romanticized view of living off-grid and self-sustainably. And I'm here to tell you, there's a reason that humans have lived in communities. To live by yourself, you have to be one of those mechanically minded people who can build and fix anything. And you have to be good at across the spectrum, not just carpentry, but electrical, all the new, technologies that people are using when they live off-grid. Or you live like a caveman. You live like someone who, lives near water and breaks the ice to get their water. Like those are your two choices. And if you live off-grid the way people are living in the modern age, holy moly, the easy way is not to live off-grid and self-sustainable, because you have to run all those energy, power, heat, and water systems yourself. And you have to know what to do when they break. It's like you need almost another 4-year university degree to know how to run everything. And if you don't, then you're going to be hooped. So I'll tell you what the easy button is. The easy button is having Big Daddy government do it all for you. And that's why we're in the mess we're in. So we're between a rock and a hard place. And so you might be thinking at this point, well, Jeannie, the solution is to live in community. Yeah, and that brings us to our next huge problem with humanity, which is that when you try to live in community with people, and just do some research, go and look at communities who've tried it and failed, because I think we're at about a 99% failure rate. I think Findhorn is pretty much the only community that has managed to keep going for any length of time and come up with a system where the residents are actually happy. Humans suck at community. We are not good at living in a herd. We have all of our dysfunctions and our wounds and our trauma come to the surface when we gather in community, and then we all go sideways. And most of us don't want to lean in when that happens. Most of us want to run, or we want to wreak havoc and spew our pain onto everyone around us. And so I've had an experience of that, and I'm terrified to have anyone else here. So my own family, I can work with and I can contain, and I've worked with all my kids on trauma they've brought in from past lives. So we're not even talking, might not even be this lifetime. It might be all your stuff from your past lives and your past woundings that come up. And, that's not something that I'm called to. I don't want to be a therapist full time. I don't want to be a conflict resolution healer, trauma person full time. So I don't know the solution for this land and this space. Can't hear that plane, but I can see it. So again, the work in progress. This is what happens when we follow our dreams, because our dreams are always outside our comfort zone, and they're always into the unknown. And then we're like, oh, this is not what I thought. Oh, this is not what I expected. So just leaning in, continually leaning in and walking the path. And lots of love and forgiveness and compassion for myself and everybody else. So be it. There they are. Oh, there's Juno. See? Just after I said, if I want to know where they are, they'll tell me. That's where they told me as I was walking down. I shot that video way up there into that tree line. And as I was walking down towards the house, I was like, I'd just like to see you guys. And they said, we're over here. And then I thought, I think I can see them, but let me get out my camera and zoom in. And that's when I could see them for sure. Just when I was thinking I should have brought my binoculars. But there they are.